All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Time for that My Hero Academia goodness. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? That was not good. It was going so well. I tried to breathe in real hard and it just went like, yeah, we're going to make you cough now. I'm sorry, I just ruined my entire intro. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review. In the last chapter, we had Midoriya facing off against Tomura, well, all for one, inside of Tomura, and Midoriya is far more powerful than he's ever been before, being able to keep up with all for one in Tomura's body, to the point where he's able to completely bypass the defenses of Tomura as he stands right now. And it gets to a point where we finally see the revelation of the second user's quirk. And the quirk is called Transmission, which basically allows Midoriya to not only speed up the impact of his own strikes, but also change the speed of the things that he actually interacts with, which allows him to hit all for one so hard he sends them flying up into the shielding of the UA fortress, causing him to fall back down, and then Midoriya hits him with a Detroit smash with resounding force. And that pretty much ends that chapter right there. So now it's time to see what's going on with this chapter. Good to see you, Brandon. Good to see you, Nico. Let's see what this chapter holds for us today. Then when I'm done with that, we move on to Jujutsu, and then we move on to the newest episode, the Return of Bleach. I'm excited to watch Bleach. I haven't watched Bleach in so long. Chapter 369. A chain of events across the ages. Oh, and this must be all for one. This must be all for one. When he was holding the second user and preparing to kill him. Strange. How can this be? And mind you, they're still hiding the lower half of All for One's face. All the way back then, all those years ago. Strange. How can this be? Your meta ability. And then it shows a bullet, or at least it looks like a bullet, behind All for One, and then all of a sudden it gains more speed, and All for One catches it. How strange. Your meta, how can this be? Your meta ability was only meant to work on small objects. And it shows All for One back then grabbing the bullet back then and then crushing it completely. Never more than a lackluster pea shooter. It would be laughable to describe your actions as any sort of meaningful resistance. Such was your insignificance, you unruly insect. And then it cuts to the second user kind of smiling at All for One. That's all you were meant to be. And then it cuts back to Midoriya after having punched Tomura, as it shows All for One seeing the second user and his brother Yoichi. How is it I can see them now? As it shows All for One looking through Tomura's eyes, and he can see his brother and the second user. And then it shows Midoriya punching All for One straight into the ground. Quirk, Gear Shift. Much like the others' meta abilities, Gear Shift's strength grew alongside One for All's. Its scope broadened, allowing it to apply to more diverse targets and function right down to the cellular level. Then there's the pure simple might built up within One for All, a fist imbued with these two overlapping powers. And then it cuts to Midoriya going, Detroit Smash Quintuple! Yo! 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 Midoriya hit him so hard, all of UA just shakes, and the very ground he hits him into erupts into a ginormous crater. Detroit Smash Quintuple. Let me read this description once again. Much like the others' meta abilities, Gear Shift's strength grew alongside One For All's. Its scope broadened, allowing it to apply to more diverse targets and function right down to the cellular level. Then there's the pure simple might built up within One For All. A fist imbued with these two overlapping powers can warp the very laws governing reality. And with Detroit Smash Quintuple, Midoriya just absolutely demolishes him. And then it shows Midoriya flipping backwards to the side, and he immediately starts speeding towards All For One. A lighter blow than before. This time it didn't have that glow he built up. Perhaps it's too fast to perceive, but based on the trajectory of that last hit, I can surmise the angle and timing of the next hit, and know where. And then it shows All For One preparing to punch Midoriya, but then he punches too soon because Midoriya changes his speed and makes All For One miss. Low gear goes Midoriya. And then the second user says, Gear shift. Adjust speed without abiding by the laws of inertia. Shouldn't you know that already, All For One? And then All For One goes, in that case, It shows All For One shifting his body around. And I guess Midoriya enacts a smokescreen. Pathetic! And then All For One tries to... He jumps out of the smoke screen. No, he doesn't jump. He gets pulled by Midoriya using Black Whip because Midoriya is already above him. All For One tried to jump out of the smoke screen, but Midoriya was waiting for him on the roof. And he just yanks him out of the smoke with Black Whip from above. And then Midoriya says, after adjusting my timing, I can use the fourth danger sense to detect the threat and the sixth smokescreen to obscure his vision. Then the seventh float provides some instant height, and the fifth Black Whip catches him unaware, so I can bind and yank him towards me. Finally, that earlier quintuple attack gave me a refill of the third's Fajin. What? You mean to tell me that using Detroit Smash Quintuple gave him the energy necessary for him to start using Fajin all immediately? Midoriya's broken! Midoriya is broken! Finally, that earlier quintuple attack gave me a refill of the third's Fajin for another blast of overdrive, courtesy of the second gear shift. And it ooh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. We have Midoriya as he's completely clad in all of his quirks that he's using. And it shows all the users around him in this one big chunk panel. And it even has the obscured visage of All Might in the background, but all the users are surrounding Midoriya right now. And then the second user says, our meta abilities were never what you should have been wary of. Rather, you should fear the reason why someone chooses to use their gifts. True power resides within an individual's intent. This is why. And then Midoriya says, this time, I'm giving it everything I've got. You're gonna be the one to complete One For All. Well, Banjo says, you're gonna be the one to complete One For All. All For One, you don't get? And then it cuts to Mirio as he's holding either Nejide or Mirko. No, he's holding Nejide because Mirko's over with Sun Eater. And then it shows Best Genius with Bakugo. And then it has All For One screaming out, "Silence, you insect! You maggots! You don't get to hurt anyone else!" And then it shows Midoriya punching All For One so hard, all the fingers that he was using to cover his body for defense just fly off. But the second user says, "This is why." When he said our meta abilities were never what you should have been wary of. Rather, you should fear the reason why someone chooses to use their gifts. True power resides within an individual's intent. This is why people call them quirks. And as he says this, Midoriya hits All For One full force, causing all those fingers he had protecting him to fly off. And all that is left is a big old hole in Shigaraki's chest. Or at least it looks like a big hole in his chest. And then Yoichi, the first user, says, "We're resonating. One for all with All For One, and All For One with One For All. I can see my brother. The young man with the bean eyes was correct." Bean-eyed young man is Lemillion. He's who he's referring to. "The course of this battle, the chain of events leading to this moment, has shaken the balance of their supposed melding." And then the second user goes, "Here comes your moment, boy. Don't forget what Shimura said. You can't take it easy just yet. Giving everything you've got, you say. And that business about quirks. Oh wait, this is All For One going, giving everything you've got, you say. And that business about quirks. Surely you jest. I haven't used a single quirk yet. I've yet to brandish the true value of this body. They're to blame. Wretched, unsightly Eraserhead and his merry brats. And this tomb of theirs, their sneaky ramshackle ploy to divide us. The whole sequence of events that led to this moment." And then it shows Shigaraki's body. Shigaraki's body starts to heal over, and something starts happening as it shows like these white flashes around Shigaraki. As Tomura's body, his hair gets spiky all of a sudden, and the hole that was over his chest closes up. And then Midoriya is just looking on as Aizawa goes, "Another trick up his sleeve?" "No, not yet. Indeed, Yoichi, the entire chain of events up to now will inevitably spell out victory or destroy One For All. Not yet! Victory is still within my grasp!" And then it cuts to the city as it shows Spinner, massive and roided out and foaming at the mouth, walking through the streets. And that's the end of the chapter. And we're going on break after this. Interesting. Let me see this. MHA. Chapter 369. I want to read up on something real quick. Let's see. As Tomura bodies falls with a gaping hole in his chest, Midoriya hit him so hard there's a hole in his chest now. Revenge for Bakugo. Yoichi states how One For All and All For One have begun to resonate with each other, able to see his brother within. He continues that what Lemillion said is correct, that the course of the battle and the events that led to this moment have shaken the balance of their melding. The second user tells Deku to remember what Nana said and not to take it easy yet as he attempts to recover. Meanwhile, Tomura laments over Deku not holding anything back and using all his quirks, while he hasn't been able to use a single quirk yet, unable to show the true power of his body, all because of Eraserhead's erasure, the UA coffin, and all their underhanded tricks. Just then, Tomura screams out as 9 vestiges appear, showing that he is not yet finished. So does All For One have vestiges the same way One For All does? All for One declares that if everything that has happened will spell out victory or defeat for all, then victory still lies within his grasp. Elsewhere, the monstrous spinner continues to stomp his way toward Central Hospital. Interesting. Very interesting. But what I get from this chapter is just how much more powerful Midoriya is. Some people say the 9 stars are the people to fulfill One for All, 9 second movie, 6 vigilantes, or 9 commanders like Spinner, Dabi, and etc. Interesting. Interesting. But we're going on break after this. That's interesting. But Midoriya basically just manhandled Shigaraki. With all of his quirks, like I'm just thinking, like, where is this gonna go from here? Because Midoriya is using a combination of every single one of his quirks right now. Especially, he's getting very used to using transmission. Being able to shift the speed of Tomura so that he can't punch him, but also allow Midoriya to hit him with a punch so hard it can warp the very laws governing reality. That's what Detroit Smash Quintuple was. Midoriya hit the boy so hard he bent space. Hold on, let me look up the description of Detroit Smash Quintuple. So, it doesn't have it up there yet. No, it doesn't have it up there yet. I need to find it. Midoriya. Okay. I want to look this up. I want to look up this quirk. By the way, My Hero should end this year, but Horikoshi said that My Hero will be at least a little bit longer. Man, to think that we're approaching the end of My Hero Academia. We are. Bleach has come back, but now we're going to be losing My Hero. It's like, it's... You never really think of these things. But when that moment comes, and that day when something that you've been enjoying so long it's just gone. It's like Naruto. It's gonna be that feeling when My Hero Academia finally ends. It's gonna be a hole is gonna be left behind. It doesn't have Detroit Smash Quintuple here yet. It doesn't have that here yet because I really want to see it. But I really want to see the description of Detroit Smash Quintuple, but it's just quintuple the power. So if he was already going at 120%, quintuple that, 4 times that. That's how much power Midoriya basically just used against Shigaraki here. This was a very good chapter. I enjoyed it. Because he has his One for All 100%, and then 100% Detroit Smash, 1,000,000% Delaware Detroit Smash, Texas Smash, Wyoming Smash. And it's funny how Midoriya isn't using his shoot style anymore. Remember when that used to be something he used so that way he could use One for All without doing damage to his hands, and he used a shoot style, but he went back to punching again because I guess his body got more acclimated to the power. But you don't see shoot style as much anymore. You just see straight punches. Black Chain, Overdrive. So Overdrive is him combining Gear Shift and Fajin on himself. It's not called Transmission, it's called Gear Shift. The force he unleashes is described as 120% of One for All when he combines both of those together. And if Delaware Smash is equivalent to him using it quintuple that size, then Midoriya is far more powerful than he's ever been before, which I find awesome. Your boy has gotten strong. I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of him. But they don't have the Detroit Smash quintuple in here yet, so I'm probably going to have to look that up later. Man, Midoriya is getting strong, but the fight isn't over because, once again, All For One still has another trick up his sleeve. This dude is always prepared for everything. Every single time. This dude has so many contingency plans just in case. We're just gonna see as we come out of this break, because we're cutting to Spinner. And we haven't seen Spinner since All For One was talking about, like, you can be someone's hero. And that was before this big massive battle even took place between the heroes and the villains. This was back when they were still at the hideout, when Shigaraki's body was still recovering. We haven't seen Spinner since he was leading that army of heteromorphics through the city. We haven't seen him since then, but now he's here in the city, just rampaging, making his way to the central hospital. We're just gonna have to see where the story goes. I really do hope that before the series ends, we finally see the resolution between Aoyama and Fat Gum versus that one dude from Tartarus, Uraraka and Asui versus Himiko Toga, Shoto and all the rest of the heroes having to deal with with a now fully conscious Toya. And then we got the real All For One, who's still dealing with Endeavor and Hawks and everyone else. We still got that going on. I really do hope we see the resolutions of those before the series ends, because I'd hate for those to be, like, open-ended. Deku has 5 minutes to defeat Shiga All For One. I'm excited how this fight will continue. So am I, Nico. I'm looking forward to it as well. But we're just going to have to wait until the week after next, because My Hero is going on break. So, One Piece chapter next week, but no My Hero next week. So, My Hero's going on break. All I can say about this chapter is, your boy Deku looks to be even more powerful than All For One ever was. Now, mind you, it makes sense that he's more powerful than All Might. Did I say All For One? I meant to say All Might. Because All Might had a ton of power. But now, all those quirks over all that time have built up with all the power that he's gained through it all, and it's transferred over to Midoriya. Now he has all this power, plus he's able to combine all other quirks that All Might never got access to. So now Midoriya is having access to more power than All Might did during his time with this quirk. So it's like, how much stronger is this dude's gonna get? The real question is this 5 minutes in real time or DBZ time? Hello, by the way. Koiz, good to see you. I mean, considering that all the events of Onigashima and One Piece took place over one singular night, but that was spread over an entire year, I'd say we're operating on DBZ time. But that's all I can say about My Hero Academia at the moment. I'll probably have something else to say once I look up more about this Detroit Smash quintuple and to see how powerful it is. But seeing these pages just makes me want My Hero Academia action RPG or Musou game even more. All Might could destroy cities just by running through it, so All Might was incredible. Yes, that's All Might in its prime. But even then, that's just All Might using the super strength aspect of One For All. Midoriya has access to all the other quirks within it, on top of that super strength that All Might got accustomed to. So imagine Midoriya getting that sense of control and power that All Might had, in combination with him fully mastering all other quirks in One For All. The dude is going to be an absolute beast. Like in this chapter, Detroit Smash Quintuple is a punch that is capable of breaking the laws that govern reality. Midoriya shouldn't be able to punch that hard. But due to the very nature of the quirks he has in him, he's capable of breaking those limits. Which just makes me want a My Hero Academia Musou game even more. I need it. I need a My Hero Academia Musou game and a Bleach one, since Bleach is back. So many things to talk about, but I'll talk about it later. Right now, I gotta end this so that way I can get on to Jujutsu, and then after that, we get started with my reactions for Bleach. I don't know if these episodes are gonna be weekly, or if they're going to be bi-weekly. I don't know how often these chapters are going to be. Remember when Deku was like, I gotta hold back so I don't punch a hole in anyone? Those were the days. Yeah, that pretty much ended the day because he just punched a ginormous hole in Tomura's chest. But time to move on to Jujutsu. That's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. This was an amazing chapter, and I enjoyed it. I just love seeing showcases of power when it comes from All for One and One for All, and Midoriya is just doing the most, and it's really good, and I'm enjoying this story. But I really do hope we touch on the other fights that are going on in My Hero before we finish this fight with Tomura and Midoriya. But that's all I got. All I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because it does help this channel massively. Because I'm always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. Onwards to Jujutsu Kaisen.